So it's time for another episode of the X-Files with Storyscape. Trial by Ice Part 2. Former Marine Jess Dexler and her new partner Aaron Fulton, an eccentric profiler with a keen understanding of the criminal mind, are assigned their first case, a trail of freakish and unexplainable frozen corpse. I'm in Philadelphia, working my case as a federal agent, standing before an exploded body trapped in ice. And somehow, what I'm hung up on is this. I never considered who'd be assigned as my partner. The first thing I noted about Aaron Fulton is that his eyes like to dart, not unfocused, but intent, noticing, assessing. He's about my age, healthy. He carries himself like this is routine, yet he just told me that this is his first case, too. He cups his hand, puffs hot air into them, then catches my gaze. His eyes dart to me. After the first two bodies were found half melted, police had the presence of mind to crank up the AC. Preserve this crime scene as long as possible. I must be giving him a look, because he shrugs as if to apologize for something. I've been here a while, got up to speed before you showed. Fulton looks up to the frozen corpse, looking it over. He's curious, but doesn't seem weirded out. He's Tim Quilling, 37, lived here 9 years, alone. Grocery store department manager. These feel like murders, or poor guy. Make a dry joke. Yeah. What department? Frozen foods? Ugh. Okay. Well, Fulton pretends not to hear me. I feel a pinch of guilt. No forced entry, nothing in disarray, aside from the deceased. What do you make of this, Dexler? A frozen, fragmented corpse left on display? I'm fascinated, or it's completely awful, or you seem unfazed. It's like nothing I ever imagined. The impossible right here in front of my eyes. Fulton turns to me, really looks at me, figuring me out. It's not at all what he expected to hear. You wanted this job. It's not even a question to him. It's the truth laid bare. His focus returns to the frozen corpse. Speculation from previous deaths is that this is something called spontaneous explosive gelation. The water inside flash freezes, expanding with enough force to explode through the body as it freezes as well. There isn't a natural precedent for what we're looking at. Water naturally expands when it cools, other liquids don't, but water does. I remember that from chemistry. Right, but explosive gelation, for it to happen so quickly, with a force strong enough to rip human flesh and cartilage. And to happen to a person at all, sure, there's no conventional way to explain it. If we can find out why this was done to Mr. Quilling and the others, we can piece together the rest, no matter how strange. Done to him, so you think this was a homicide? Not, I don't know, a 1 in a trillion allergic reaction or a nanosecond microscopic rift in space-time? I like that. You sound like you've been reading Agent Mulder's case notes. I profile, that's what I do. I see intent here. That's the key to solving these deaths. I'd be more apt to find out what happened to these people since it's the one unique element, but Fulton's my partner. Maybe, or we'll try it your way, or how leads to who, or what. I think if we figure out how this was done, it'll lead us to the person, or whatever behind it. Profiling works, Agent Dexler. He says without malice or ego, which somehow makes his dismissal worse. There's just one eyewitness, according to Philly PD. She's out front. How about we go talk to her? I'll take point. Director Skinner never said which of us is in charge of this case. Judging from Fulton's assertion, he wasn't told either. Sounds good. Lead the way. I could call him out for being presumptuous, but he took the initiative. It's not like there won't be other interviews. Besides, it should be interesting to see how well he interacts with others. It's not a chilly night, but the witness wraps herself in a fleece rescue blanket and shivers as she rises from the squad car. It isn't because of residual cold from inside. I recognize it from the haunted look in her eyes. Hi, Wendy. My name is Aaron Fulton. This is Jess Dexler. We're federal agents. Right away I notice a personable ease in Fulton's approach. It's different from what we learned at the academy, a variation on it. Now, we'd like to ask you about what happened tonight. Do you think you're up to that?
I guess. I mean,
Miss Albright shrugs. It must feel like a strange and futile question to her right now. Wendy, how long have you known Tim Quilling? A couple months, not even. We've only been out a few times. How'd you guys meet? Starry Lanes, the bowling alley. I go for Tuesday happy hour. We met at a bar. It's going pretty straightforwardly. I wonder to myself if cross-questioning her might provide a tell. Are you a bowler? Or who approached who? Or let Fulton continue? I think better of it. I'd rather see where Fulton takes us. What can you tell me about tonight? I came over, we were watching music videos, I went to the bathroom, and as soon as I heard Tim arguing, don't know who with a man. Could you hear what was said? Not clearly, but they got loud. I couldn't even stand up, like, I didn't know what would... You weren't curious? You didn't put your ear up to the door? No, You weren't there. You didn't hear them. Did you have your purse with you in the bathroom? She looks to Fulton puzzled, looks to me, then back to him. Did you have it or not? Yes, I had my purse, so what? Fulton's getting impatient, and it's making her agitated. If I don't step in, we might lose her cooperation. Pull Fulton aside. Agent Fulton, a moment. We step away from Miss Albright, far enough that I can quietly raise my voice without her hearing. She's not listening to me. Be calm, you can do this. Get to your point. You're messing up, I can take over. You started out fine. Take a breath, think about what you want to know, and take your time with her. Yeah. Fulton closes his eyes, quietly scolding himself, then heads back toward the eyewitness. I follow. Sorry about that, Wendy. I was just curious if you had your phone with you in the bathroom. Well, yeah, but, the battery was dead. I forgot to charge it last night. I never forget, but somehow... She starts to sob with guilt. I let Tim down, didn't I? No, absolutely not. In fact, you're helping him right now by helping us. Fulton's words seem to calm her down, give her direction. So there's an argument. What happens next? There's a sound, a whoosh of air, and then, like, trees cracking. I guess ice. Then it was quiet, so I opened the door. I can tell Miss Albright's trying not to think of Tim's body. It's like me with Svel and the mucus man. I can focus her elsewhere. We're looking for anything weird. Or did you see the man? Or did Tim have enemies? Was the man Tim arguing with still there? Any idea where he went? No, the door was open. He was gone. That's all I know to tell you. Sure, of course. We understand. Wendy, thanks for your time. We might have more questions for you later, but you've been helpful tonight. She nods, exhausted, barely registering Fulton's words. Even with more questions, her answers might not flow all that readily. Thanks for your help. I needed it more than I realized going in. Hey, by the way, the frozen foods line? Fulton gives an approving nod with a smirk before he turns to leave. Nothing left for us to do. I'll see you tomorrow. Fulton's right. We're done for the night. I hail a ride to the station and take the train back. I try to think about the case, but nothing coalesces. Not even once I reach the sanctuary of home. Not even in the shower. All I can think of is the victims must have have something in common, and then this case may be too much for a pair of rookie field agents. And of course I wonder what to make of Fulton. My head is all clouds and tangles. I realize it might be good to talk to someone. It can't be Skinner, not unless I want to be seen as a partner snitch right out of the gate, but there is another option. Meet with Agent Scully or go to bed. Go to bed! A good night's rest usually brings some amount of clarity. I'm hoping that's true this time. I drive to J. Edgar Hoover building for my first full day on the job. I'm surprised to find I'm in before Fulton. Our shared office must surely be meant for one occupant. There's not much to it, and very little I intend to do about that. I fire up my computer and begin looking at the victims. 3 men, different parts of Philly, different ages, different lines of work. They have accounts on the same social media app, but no common friends. The third has a private profile. I may need a warrant to see it. Fulton arrives before long. He says morning and settles in at his desk. After a few minutes pass, he breaks the silence. I was up late building a profile, white male, adult, 20s or early 30s. Unintelligent, an impatient planner who knew the victims. As evidenced by the lack of break-ins and the argument with Tim Quilling, who had company the killer wasn't aware of. The victims saw the killer as inferior and were likely cruel to him. This is him correcting a perceived injustice. I'm not seeing any link, or still doesn't explain how, or you know the killer's thoughts now? Nothing in your profile helps us understand how these people could be flash frozen. How would we even start to investigate an inexplicable cause of death? We can look for similar circumstances within the X-Files. Even if they aren't directly related, they could provide insight. That's a lot of haystack to search for a needle without a point. It's not a bad idea, but it doesn't seem the best use of our time. You're not going to budge on the profiling, are you? It's what I know. It's what I'm best at. And really feel strongly that understanding him is how we find him. Okay, well, we can keep our options open. What about my opinion? We don't have to commit to one approach right now. No, that's true. We don't. But I really do believe we should this time. I understand if it feels like I'm railroading and I'm going to be the worst partner, but this is only our first case. To be clear, I do not intend to make my perspective the only perspective. You earned your way here. You deserve to be heard. Thanks. Fulton scrutinized me like I'm a work of abstract art. I'm about to break the awkward silence when he does it first. Oh, we don't know each other at all. Like, not at all. What brought you to the Bureau, and why the X-Files? Tell me about Alaska? To seek the unknown, or it's complicated? I want to know what's hidden out in the world, to understand the things beyond what we think we know. Well, just so long as you don't always assume things you don't understand are, aliens. How about you? Why are you here? I interned for the Pierce Institute. They're private criminal consultants. Sometimes they work with Skinner and X-Files, so here I am. He shrugs, smiles, and starts using his computer. He's holding back plenty, like why he interned with the Pierce outfit to begin with. His past is his own, but still I can't help but wonder why he's being cagey about it. Things are quiet again for a bit, each of us doing our own work. All I can think is how one-sided this partnership could end up. Then Fulton suddenly stands and starts to leave. I realize it's early yet, but I missed some breakfast. I need to get lunch. Come with me. We can talk. I'm not even remotely hungry, but it seems he's making an effort. I get up and decide to see where he's going with this. Special Agent Aaron Fulton. Lunch. What a great idea. Not even a bit hungry, and here you are mainlining street tacos as an excuse to leave the building to talk. That stuffy little room doesn't feel right, though. You should do something about that office so it doesn't feel so rude. Okay, no more pig at a trough. Tell her what you mean to tell her. I chose this career because my whole family was murdered by a serial killer. Dexter lets out half a laugh at first, and then realizes you're serious, and looks to you in stunned silence. Way to be blunt. My God, you really mean it, Fulton? I'm so sorry. Don't accept pity, or acknowledge your sympathy, or eat your tacos. You thank her, but then you don't know what else to say. It's a relief to have put that out there, but now you're exposed. May I ask what happened to the killer? Did they catch him? The question steps into your mind and looks around, but you aren't letting it open any doors. Not today. He'll never kill again. So that happens to your family, then at some point you decide, what exactly? What was it inside of you that brought you here? I want to understand their killer, or I don't want that to happen again, or I want justice. People like Coach, they can't be allowed to just get away with it. Someone has to find them, stop them, and make them pay. Damn right someone does. Dexter looks at you with greater understanding, empathy, than realization. That was the Coach? I read about that case, how it ended. A bit of cabbage got stuck between your teeth. You should have grabbed a toothpick from a food cart. Should we get back to it? Before you know it, you're back at the computer, perfecting the art of formulating FBI database search terms. You doubt you'll find your killer in one of those records, but you might find someone similar enough to provide some critical contexts. The office Just rude. It's dull. It doesn't have any features to help you go places. It could use some personality. Hey, Dexler, I know it's hardly a priority, but what do you think of sprucing this place up a bit? Dexler keeps her eyes and focus on her work. I'm fine regardless. You want to change the look of the office? Knock yourself out. You envision the office changed for the better. Let's do it. You're pleased with the tweaks and avoid wasting too much time. You'll be more comfortable in the long term. Now it's back to work. Searches are slow. You start thinking about the 3 victims and how their killer connects them. You know they couldn't be old schoolmates. It's doubtful the killer worked with them at all at some point. They didn't cross-commute. Fulton, I think I got something. She waves you over, so you step behind her desk and take a look over her shoulder. As soon as you see it, of course. How is it not more obvious? They were in the same bowling league. It's a large league, men only. None of the 3 victims knew each other. They played on different teams and frequented different lanes. You head back up to Philly with Dexler, interviewing the league members who knew the victims. You and Dexler work together. You're both green, but after several of these interviews, you're developing a rhythm together. You start with the first victim. Everyone loved or hated this guy. Opinionated and loud, makes sense that he'd be the first, the tipping point. No one stands out as a suspect. Same with the associates of the second victim, who sounds more like a suspect himself. They say he was quiet, with a dark sense of humor. 5 bowling alleys in 2 days, double-digit interviews, nothing. No special insights, no motives, no direction. Though Dexler does learn from forensic inventories that the victims are all missing their bowling balls, most likely kept as trophies. Somewhere there's a killer. Starry Lanes. This is where Wendy and Tim met. Look at that, she's even at the bar. You don't look at her that. Instead, you go to the register with the manager on duty. And now, familiar donation jars from the first 2 victims. Hey there, we're with the FBI. I'm Agent Fulton and this is Agent Dexler. May we ask you some questions? Oh, sure. What do you want to know about? Tim Quilling, or the previous victims, or you? You're the manager? The night manager, yeah, I take it you're here about the... Unable to say it, he nods at the donation jars. The deaths of those 3 bowlers, yes, we are. Oh wow, so you think they're connected. Are they, like, murders? We can't really get into that, sir. Right, sure, I understand. Hey, if you want to talk to someone who played with Tim, go see little Jimmer, Lane 6, with his family. Taking the night manager's advice, you locate the man and identify yourselves. He asks to be out of earshot of his children. You oblige. This is what, about Quilling? Explore their friendship, display compassion, or appeal to his interests. To see his reaction, you make the assumption that little Jimmer and Tim Quilling must have spent time together outside the lanes. No, we bowled together, that's it. I wasn't suggesting you 2 were intimate, just that... Well, intimate, look, I knew Quilling well enough to know why I wanted nothing to do with him. The rest of the team felt the same way. Damn good bowler, but he was one of those, I don't know, hug the trees, save the pandas types. That doesn't sound like someone who would have slighted the killer. Your profile isn't looking so hot. Anyway, you want to know about Tim? Why bother with me when you can get a better source back where you came from? We've already spoken with Miss Albright. What, Wendy? No, at the desk. You were just talking to his one and only friend. Your face probably looks like Dexler's. You just got the wool pulled over your eyes by the night manager. You rush back to the counter, but he's gone. The back! He ran out the back! Thank you, Wendy. You pull your weapons. Stepping to the open alley door, you feel the rush and the fear. And you remember you were the worst shot in the academy. Have Dexler go first. You signal for Dexler to check the doorway. She rolls her eyes and goes ahead. Smart move, really. She was military. All's clear. The low sounds of cooling units and idling trucks won't mask footfalls. You don't hear any. He's probably gone already. Crouched with guns drawn, the 2 of you take furtive steps along the bottled water truck. You repeat it to yourself in a whisper. Bottled water truck. Bottled water truck. Bottled water truck. Look underneath. Tackle Dexler. Or look out. Dexler, down! You witness her military training. She doesn't look, she doesn't ask questions, she just drops. While you stop to watch her just long enough for a shard of frozen plastic to slice your left arm. Nice work. You flip over and look. The truck has become a spiked wall of ice and plastic, even some metal. Oh my god. We've seen things like before, but nothing quite like this. Neither has Dexler. As the pain in your arm starts to register and the blood pools, you hear them, the footfalls. By the time either of you got to your feet, your serial killer will have gotten away. Give yourself a slow clap. Relationship is friendly between Jess Dexler and Aaron Fulton. And that is X-Files Chapter 2. There's no more chapters, but very interesting story so far. And stay around for the next one.